Today, on Use What You Got, we're gonna make a box. Now, you might be asking me, what kind of box? Well, it's got 4 sides, obviously, but the front and the back are open. Now, I think it's optional. You could make a back for it. I'm choosing not to because I want it open, but this is gonna be for my records. Now, I've got a decent amount, not a ton, but I need to elevate my actual record player where it sits right now. Let's go to the dining room and I'll show you what I mean. We have this little standing unit here, and currently my record player's in the bottom. And these are only about half of the records I actually own. So what I'd like to do is make a box that they can sit in underneath of this, raise it up a little bit. I can put all my records in that, since I don't have too many. But I can still open this without hitting this upper area. So let's go back to the garage. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna write our measurements. Table saw for the cuts, glue. I'm gonna do a little taping up of the corners to hold it together. And that's it. Let's get into the measurements. I wanted to mention this real quick. I thought it was kind of cool. This was the last time I bought some records from the store. It's Goodwill, actually. And I happened to use the same paper to write down the measurements for this. So we're gonna do a box, 14.5 inches by 14.5 inches, 7 high. Super easy. We are back. The next part of this project. And today, we're gonna be gluing this together. All right, so to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing, I grabbed a bunch of clamps as well as these little things. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mainly use the glue and the tape to hold this together. But once I glue it up and I tape it, just for a little bit of extra support, I'm gonna use these clamps. So I'll put these on some of the corners and then I'll clamp some of the outside pieces of the wood to these just for a little bit of extra strength while glue is drying. let's get started. Right, so the outsides are taped up. Now we're gonna flip it over. Hopefully, gently. Okay. It's cool. There's enough room here. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to put tape across here so that any glue that comes out doesn't get stuck. I'd rather that not happen. So one quick note I wanted to make. I originally planned to make these 14 by 14. And because my table saw is only, the cuts on it can only be so wide with the fence on it, I ended up cutting them closer to 14 by 14. So in the end, I'll have about 12.5 inches on the inside for the width. Luckily, my records are 12 inches wide. So it's a little smaller than I wanted it to be, but I think it's gonna work out. Got the tape around all the edges, hopefully making it pretty square. We got clamps on the inside, clamps on the outside. So we'll come back and check this tomorrow and hopefully we'll be looking pretty good. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So the glue was done. It's been a day and a half, 2 days, something like that. And it's time to take the tape off. I feel like in the woodworking world, this is pretty much the equivalent of buying new tech and peeling the screen protector off, you know, a new screen protector. So let's take this tape off. Wow. I'm surprised. I honestly didn't know how this was going to turn out. Crisp. By the way, it is like a beautiful Saturday right now. Cannot complain. Got some areas to fill in with some wood putty, but it's actually looking pretty good. I'm pretty pleased so far. And this worked out really well. Like, I'm very happy. Well, that goes to show you the whole technique of, if you're doing miters, lining up the corners, using the tape to hold it together. And if you have the clamps, I'm sure the extra pressure is helpful, but I mean, there's a little bit of a gap, but for the most part, it's pretty clean. Just a little bit of wood filler some sanding, gonna be good to go. When we get over to the poly, get this puppy done. I told myself coming into this that if I want to do this kind of woodworking, it'd be very easy to just, you know, go in halfway and just say, oh, well, that's good enough. But though I'm very inexperienced, I do want to try to do the best I can. Gonna get it looking good. I sanded the box a little bit, slightly touched the corners with the sander. I've put wood filler on these inside corners. So now I'm gonna try to sand it down and get it nice and flush, and then just to get rid of these, kind of the discoloring that the wood filler left over. So I'm gonna wipe this off real quick with a dry rag. A lot of people say to use tack cloths. I don't have any on me, so I guess this is the next best thing. But once I wipe this off, I'm gonna get it a little damp and then go over this one more time. And then once the wood is dry, I'm gonna go ahead and put some poly on it. So I think one understanding I have to have with myself in regards to this box, though I understand it's far from perfect, I have an understanding of the material I'm working with. And this is just your average, I believe, sandy plywood. And I've had a lot of chip out, which I know you can prevent to an extent with tape. I'm so deep into this project, I kind of don't care. But I have really tried not to cut any corners. But I've spent so much time on it that I'm ready to be done, so. All right, let's get some beauty shots, put some poly on there, and be done with this. You can see the fibers are sticking up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down so I can get it nice and smooth. And then I'll do one more coat of poly using a brush this time. And we'll see where we are after that. I will say, Sometimes you have to worry about the bristles from the brushes, your brush getting stuck in the wood as you're painting or doing poly. I'm not seeing any of that right now, but the thing I do really like about this is it seems like the poly is going on much better with this than it is with the foam brush. It's also making this go a lot faster than the first time too. Trying to just smooth it all out. We're finally done, and I can listen to my Miles Davis again, as well as the other records I have. I also have a place to put my records now, which is nice, instead of being in a box in my garage. So I just wanted to say thank you for sticking around and watching this video. If you made it to this point, hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm super happy to be done. I've got a place for my records, which is nice. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that subscribe button, and that's helpful for me. So I hope to see you guys in the next one.